Bon dia, welcome to Catalan from scratch. This is the 10th lesson and we will see the numbers today. So as you know, I always include the solutions from the last lesson's exercise, but I decided not to give you any exercises on the lesson about prepositions because they would be too confusing or just hard to get on the first try. So regardless, if you have any questions or doubts, please I ask you to ask me anything in the comments so that everyone can see your question, or if you prefer, just an email. So we'll just jump right into the content of the video. But first, small detail before we start counting the numbers. If you are counting specific things, words, people with gender, then you have to differentiate between genders for the numbers 1 and 2. So the number 1 is u or un if what you're counting is male, has a male gender. If it's female, then you say una. For the number 2, the word for male words is dos. For female is duas. This only applies for the number 1 and 2, so don't worry, it's just this small detail. If you're just counting numbers, then you most likely use the male version, so don't worry about the rest of the numbers. It's just this small note that I wanted to give you. So let's start from 1 to 10 first. Number 1 is either u or un. Un. Number 2 is dos. Number 3, tres. 4, cuatro. 5, cinc. 6, sis. 7, set. 8, vuit. 9, nou. And finally 10, deu. I know I might be going too quickly, but it's fine. You can just go back in the video, go backwards and replay it, or pause it and replay the numbers as many times as you want, but I don't want to make this video too long. And also a small comment about this number 10. If you think you can pronounce it correctly, try to use an open E in this case and not a closed E. A closed E would be Déu. Déu means God in Catalan. We would know what you want to say eventually, but at first it would be a little bit confusing because we can't tell the difference. So try to say Déu instead of Déu. So the following numbers from 11 to 19 don't really follow the general rule for number construction in Catalan, so they have specific names for themselves. 11, onze. 12, dotze. 13, tretze. 14, catorze. 15, quinze. 16, setze. 17, dix-sept. 18, divuit. And finally 19, dinou. Now I will start counting from number 10, and I will jump in tens until 100. So first, like I mentioned, 10, 10, 10, 20, 20, 20, 30, 30, 30, 40, 40, 40, 50, 50, 50, 60, 60, 60, 70, 70, 70, 80, 80, 80, 90, 90, 90, 100, cent, cent, and then 1,000, mil, mil, and also a million, un millio, un millio. So now I will explain how you construct the numbers between all of these that I just mentioned. So firstly, between 21 and 99, this is how you do it. Basically, you first mention the tens of the numbers and then the units, with the exception that between the numbers 21 and 29, you also add an I in the middle. So for example, 21 has as tens 20, and the unit is 1. So it's 20, you add the I, and then 1. So 20 in Catalan is 20, then the I is I, and then 1 is un. 21, 21, 21. And then for 22, you have 20, the I, and 2. 22, 22, 22. Then for the next example, 35 is not between 21 and 29, so you don't add that I that I mentioned. So the tens are 30 and the units are 5. 35, 35, 35, 35. For 56, you have 50 and then 6. 56, 56, 56. For 99, there's 90 and then 9. 90, 9, 99, 99. So if we want to make bigger numbers, like the ones that go from 101 to 991, we follow the same rule, but we also have to mention the hundreds at the beginning and how many hundreds. The rule for the numbers between 21 and 29 still applies, so we still have to add the I. So in this case we have 121. So first we have the hundreds, which is just 100, and then 20, and then 1. So 100, like I said in Catalan, is cent, and then 21, 21, 121, 121. For 222, we have 2 hundreds, so it's 2 cents, and then 22, 22, 2 cents, 22, 222, 222. Now for 411, as you remember, 11 has its own name. We don't say 10 and 1, right? So same thing here. First we have 400, 400, and then 11, 100, 411, 411, 411. So just to remark this, for the 100, we just count how many hundreds, right? So in the case of 800, we have 8 hundreds, literally. So we say 8 cents, 8 cents, 8 cents. And finally, for 999, we have 900, also 90, and then 9. 9 cents, 90, 9. 999, 999. And that's basically how you can construct all these numbers. These rules are the same for every number in existence, but of course it gets a bit more complicated the longer it is. But if you apply this, I think you should be able to construct bigger numbers. So if you want to practice this, you have these sentences here that you can complete. And I will give you the solutions as always on the next video. So let me know if these numbers are similar in your language. Let me know where you're from and which is your native language, and see if there are similarities. It might be interesting to know if, even if your native language is not a Romance language, it would be interesting to see if there are any similarities. So with that, this is the end of the video. Thank you so much, and if you liked it, press the like button, subscribe if you're not subscribed, and if you know someone that might be interested in learning Catalan, send that person this video. And with that, thank you so much, and adeu-siau.